Barcelona's staggering transfer. Lionel Messi is moving to Manchester City to play in the Champions League, Paul Pogba's return to Manchester United, and a new era for Everton. We're talking about this and much more today. Friends, this is a dose of football and a hot selection of the most interesting news to this hour. Friends, we've stopped collecting 5,000 likes. What is this? Let's start our marathon again. 5,000 fingers up. New video today, tomorrow. And I wish you a pleasant appetite and a pleasant viewing. Barcelona and Manchester United are planning a remarkable swap deal that could benefit both clubs. After the arrival of Ruben Amorim in Manchester, it became clear that not all players will find a place in his new system. And the main contender for the exit turned out to be Marcus Rashford. Once he was considered a key player for the Devils, but now his passion for football has noticeably faded. Many are already saying that Rashford is more prepared for the role of a politician than a footballer. However, from time to time, he still demonstrates class. His recent double against Everton is proof of that, but such flashes are not enough to convince Amari. The Portuguese coach has criticized the forward for his low level of play, suggesting that it's time for him to find a new club. But there's a problem. No one is rushing to take the Englishman. Saudi clubs have shown interest, but Rashford seems too young to end his career in Europe. Although the temptation to move to the Middle East is great, there you can relax, earning more than in any wealthy European club. It's easy to imagine such a scenario. Nevertheless, Rashford may have a more attractive alternative, namely to go to Barcelona. And what's most interesting, the Catalans are really interested in the services of the forward. Barcelona's interest in Rashford seems puzzling, given their strong attacking options, especially with Ferran Torres already in the squad. Barcelona's main objective is to offload Frenkie de Jong. Club president Joan Laporta has long been looking for a way to get rid of the Dutchman and his huge salary, which is literally suffocating the club's financial system. Efforts to sell de Jong for a token amount have not succeeded so far. And here comes the idea of a swap for Rashford. This move looks logical and beneficial for several reasons at once. Firstly, Amari will get a quality halfback who can strengthen the center of the field. Secondly, Barcelona can try to breathe new life into Rashford's career. And if it doesn't work out, the Catalans always have the option to sell him to Saudi Arabia. Thirdly, moving to a new team allows both players to recharge. This is crucial for their future careers. The risks are low, the benefits are clear. In general, the deal looks like a win-win. Laporta and Redcliffe ahead, hold on. Bavaria moved, destroyed, and left no stone unturned from RB Leipzig. The score of 5-1 says a lot, but there's a feeling that even it does not fully convey the dominance of the Munich team in yesterday's match. The Bulls hit the Reds' gates only 4 times, and only one of the shots hit the target. He emerged as the top scorer in the pivotal Bundesliga match, which began as anticipated. By the second minute, each team had already scored a goal. Leipzig came out with a very expected and quite working tactic against Bavaria to retreat in defense and run in attack, thanks to the fast forwards. But the plan didn't work due to the uncoordinated actions of the defenders. Leipzig's positioning is a total disgrace. Penalty area was like a walk in the park. Bayern players felt so free that they all made dashes into the penalty area. Wingers, fullbacks, central defenders. Let's say Leipzig has a justification. They lack players because of injuries. Zeewald isn't a central defender and Musa isn't a defender. The result was mostly predictable. Despite not scoring, Harry Kane was a key player. It was he who organized the first goal. He just brilliantly figured out the episode and passed the ball to Ali with his heel, who then shot at Musa. Joshua Kimmich also scored a goal. The gun is scary, as they say. A true masterpiece from outside the box. He messed up. Words can't describe it here. But you can describe the video next to it. That's why you should fly to us on the telly and definitely watch this goal. You can find the link in the description and in the pinned comment. Believe me, there's something to watch. Alphonso Davies had an impressive run, passing Leipzig's players as if they were standing still compared to last season. In this, he is a totally different player. No wonder Bayern now wants to sign a new contract with him so badly. Yes, and Real Madrid and Manchester United are letting go of their talents. Looking at the game of the Canadian, Bayern goes into the break with a handicap of 4, and even all 7 points if Bayern loses. Leverkusen is now trailing in the match and stats. In general, it smells like a return of the salad spinner home. While premature early signs suggest Bavaria not only looks better than Bayern, but also has greater depth on its bench. And the players have more experience, although no one has discounted the Xabi Alonso factor. Everton has finally waited for new owners. Farhad Moshiri has long tried to find someone who will buy his club, which has stopped being a joy while being just a toy. Moshiri came to the team with European Cup ambitions, but in the end, the risks ended up in a debt pit. Of course, it doesn't smell like European Cups. The last seasons, it was only by a miracle that we managed to keep our place in the Premier League. The consortium approved the purchase of the club, and the deal received all necessary approvals from the Premier League regulatory bodies, as well as the Football Association of England and the Financial Control Authority. It is expected that he will become the chairman of the board of directors in the near future. What can be expected from him in the Premier League? Let's take a look at Rome, for example. In 4 years at the helm of the Romans, it seems that the American has not made a single worthy appointment. He may have been right about Mourinho at least once, but his time in Rome was hardly successful. The problem is that the Friedkins choose coaches as pop as possible, simply by loud names, after which they have to soothe the fans by inviting legends. Roma does not have a clear and understandable sports project. The coach is chosen not by style. The club is swinging from side to side, but this is not directly the fault of the Friedkins. But they have unsuccessfully appointed operational managers. Dan is a businessman. In this part, Roma is flourishing. Under his rule, the Olympic Stadium was filled to capacity, which hadn't occurred in years. The club also corrected the budget under the American. Soon, Roma will start building a new arena. Also, under Dine, the Romans sorted out the problems with the financial fair play which Monchi had put them under. In essence, for Roma's success, and therefore Everton's, Friedkin simply needs to find top managers who are specifically knowledgeable in football. Dan Ashworth has just become available. You can promise him the moon and try to lure him with ambitions and investments. And Friedkin is already thinking about changing the coach. English media are buzzing about the comeback story of Jose Mourinho. The Portuguese, according to his words, still has unfinished business in England. Barcelona is facing financial difficulties further exacerbated by stadium issues. Brilliant management risks leaving the club without a Champions League arena. At Montjuic, the Cinegranites cannot play because of an agreement with the city council. Camp Nou is not undergoing any reconstruction. The deadlines continue to be extended. As a result, Barca is threatening to move to Madrid. The Catalans are exploring new stadium options in Madrid. Laporta anticipated the team playing at Camp Nou by February. But it would be fortunate if Blaugrana could return to the arena even in the first half of the next season. The main option for the Catalans at the moment is the Atlético Vicente Calderón Stadium. The mayor of Madrid and the Rojiblancos fan, José Luis Martínez Almeida, responded to the question about the possible move of Barça. If it's economically beneficial for Atlético, I won't object. The boss of Atlético has not yet reacted to the latest news. The rent of the Barça stadium is causing significant financial losses, and this is in addition to the revenues that the club expected to receive from the spring comeback at Camp Nou, which will not happen. Such calculations may force Barça to sell players, especially considering that Blaugrana doesn't even have the opportunity to register Dani Olmo yet. If Olmo is not registered for the second half of the season, then the halfback may terminate the contract and become a free agent. Such conditions are written in his contract with the Catalans. Arsenal has begun working on Dani's transfer, sensing an opportunity, as reported by Tim Tolk. The Londoners are doing everything right, even though it seems early. Yes, it's not excluded that the efforts will be in vain. Only if Olmo becomes a free agent, there will be plenty of contenders for him. Few teams would turn down such a halfback. And to win such a tough race, you need to start earlier than everyone else. So all that remains is to praise Arsenal's management. Moreover, Arteta critically needs another creative player if he is going to fight for medals this season. Elon Musk is not the biggest sports fan, but he still follows some of his views, including football. For example, the American studied the situation around the sale of Manchester United. On August 22nd, Musk tweeted, "In addition to that, I'm buying Manchester United, thank you." He then stated that it was just a joke. But according to data, Musk was actually interested in United, even setting a soft deadline for the purchase offer of MU on the 17th of February. However, it never reached meaningful negotiations. Perhaps Elon thought he had too little experience in the football business to start with such a big club as MU. But you could start by trying to buy some team from the lower leagues of England, like Wrexham, which, thanks to Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, is fighting for promotion in the Championship on all fronts. Against the backdrop of rumors linking Musk and English football, financial expert Rob Wilson gave Elon public advice. If Elon Musk wants to own a football club, Cheltenham Town is a promising option, particularly for the US market. Many people worldwide adore British culture, particularly the Midlands region. We have beautiful hills in the background and a suburb. Impressive story, it's also a great perspective. The company is owned by Cheltenham and Scottish businessman Simon Keswick, and they are ready to sell all their shares. That's about 56%. The rest is owned by the club's support fund. Now the team is in the middle of League Two. And of course, Musk's arrival almost guarantees the club a quick promotion through the leagues, just like at Wrexham. With $26 billion, it's not so hard to make a fairy tale for a modest team. But the idea could really interest Elon. Soccer is now popular in the United States, including the upcoming World Cup. Many showbiz stars want to try themselves as club owners. What's worse about Musk? Secondly, well, who hasn't tried in football simulators to take a weak team and make it a contender for European titles? With his condition, without major investments and risks, Musk can start a similar career in real life. More and more people close to Manchester United are starting to talk about Paul Pogba's move to Old Trafford. Is he really in that condition? I remind you that the defender's disqualification has been reduced to 18 months. Her term is almost up. He can start training again by the end of winter. He can resume his professional career sometime in the spring. There are many rumors circulating around him. Everyone is wondering where Pogba will end up in a couple of months. At first, there were mundane talks about a transfer to Saudi Arabia or a move to Major League Soccer, but the Frenchman wants to prove to the world that he is still a capable footballer. He was offered top football, clubs from the European Championship, and the main contender is considered to be Marseille. It is already known that they will be happy to see him in the south of France. In Marseille, a tradition has emerged of selecting footballers who face adversity, but now the chances of returning to Manchester United are growing. At a minimum, the emerging information noise could lead management to take such action. Luis has already spoken out, and now Dwight Yorke has added fuel to the fire. Paul Pogba is a player who is stronger than those we have now. A physically ready and motivated Pogba can bring to the team what it lacks: class, talent, and uniqueness. He's a professional, he takes care of himself. And it's worth considering the option with a 2-year contract. Given our defensive issues, his return would clearly reinforce the team. This is a decision that is definitely worth thinking about. The former MU player has a point in his words. With only one amendment, Paul Pogba will not demand astronomical money for his salary. If he agrees to play for 3 pennies, he needs to be given a trial period. After that, determine if it's worth renewing his contract. I'm still not a fan of a 2-year agreement. It's written off immediately, but you can negotiate a 6-month contract with him. In it, note the conditions. If Pogba plays a set number of matches, his contract extends another year with better terms. In my opinion, it's a great plan. Yorke was right saying that the MU halfback is not bad. Paul Pogba was once a promising footballer, and if he needs recognition from the football community, then, being a Manchester player, he can get it. However, he will have to work hard because lazy Amaris are not liked. There is a feeling that Arsenal is in an identity crisis this season. The team is often saved by set pieces, and the corner kick has become a new trick of the Gunners, from which almost all opponents can't find salvation. But when Arsenal faces a serious opponent who doesn't even allow them to get a set piece, they start having problems with executing positional attacks. You can often see how Arsenal simply passes the ball around, not knowing how to take advantage of possession. This is roughly the picture we could see in the matches against Everton and Fulham. Sometimes it feels like Arteta has nothing more to offer his team after all. He was the man who pulled the Gunners out of the crisis. But it's been 5 years since then, and the coach could have burned out. Given this, he might leave Emirates in the near future, so as not to find himself in the same situation as his predecessor from Manchester. In his recent interview, Mikel Arteta said that he does not plan to stay in London for a long time. But who will take the Gunners' seat after the departure of the Spanish coach? It's impossible to answer this question yet, as the management hasn't even started preparing, avoiding such a scenario. The English media lack a candidate for Arsenal's head coach position. No one can imagine that such a personnel reshuffle will happen in the near future. And it really won't be for now. In the same interview, Arteta said he wants to bring Arsenal back to victory in a major tournament. And the most realistic option at the moment seems to be a victory in the English Cup. The Gunners won in the quarterfinals and advanced to the next stage of the tournament. In the semifinals, they are expected to face a team that is not in the best condition. If they get through this round, we will either have a North London derby or a match between Arsenal and Liverpool. In any case, we need to take advantage of this opportunity until a decision has been made to leave Emirates. Despite the ongoing fight for the English Championship, Arteta's team only has one serious trophy. This is the English League Cup, earned even before the Spanish coach started working at Arsenal. Therefore, before leaving, it is necessary to take another cup. Barca is ramping up a massive sale for the upcoming summer. This season has revealed the clear flaws of the Catalan team. Hunter Flick has a roster of 11 starting players at his disposal. A few questionable footballers for rotation, and that's it. For fighting on several fronts, this is catastrophically small. Despite limited resources, Barcelona is staying afloat. She is leading in La Liga and is definitely heading to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. But stability is still illusory. The team needs reinforcement. And it's not about prospects, but about ready-made stars who will start bringing results right now. This is particularly relevant for the central forward position. Robert Lewandowski is 36, and his time at the highest level is quickly ending. The Polish forward's contract expires after next season, by which time Barca should have a new attacking leader. Earlier, the Catalans were looking at Erling Haaland. The Norwegian is under contract. There's an option to buy out for 150 million euros. But last week, another candidacy appeared, and it looks even more interesting. According to Spanish media, Barcelona is seriously targeting Lautaro Martinez. The Argentine recently signed a new 5-year contract with Inter. His purchase will be expensive for Barca. The source claims that the minimum transfer amount will be 80 million euros, but reality may turn out to be harsher. Most likely, the amount will exceed the 9-figure mark. If Juan Laporta can pull the financial levers, Lautaro's transfer is quite real. However, under current conditions, Barcelona will have to sell its players to save up for such a star forward. Frenkie de Jong remains the top candidate. The Dutchman has long been on the list of footballers that the club is ready to let go for financial stability. But, more distressingly, even such key figures as Pedri and Gavi could be hit. Inter is reportedly open to a player exchange deal with Barcelona as part of Lautaro's transfer compensation. Nevertheless, the Milanese are demanding an additional 50 million to use for their own reinforcements. If Laporta manages to pull off the deal, the fans will be grateful to him, especially considering that Lautaro is a more reliable choice than Haaland. However, selling Pedri or Gavi could be disastrous for the president. Such a step would be perceived as a betrayal of the team's core values. This decision will likely trigger a wave of criticism. While it's ultimately up to Laporta, there's no room for error given the high stakes. Updates have emerged regarding Lionel Messi's move to Manchester City. As you probably know, the season in the American League has come to an end. Inter Miami has won the Eastern Conference regular season title, but they were knocked out of the Major League Soccer Cup playoffs at the earliest stage by Atlanta United, and now the clubs are awaiting a 4-month break. At such times, some players prefer to return to Europe to help local teams at the end of the season. In his time, the current owner of Miami, David Beckham, did the same. Thierry Henry did the same, as did many other footballers. Now it's Messi's turn. This would have been a great chance for him to play in the Champions League playoffs once more, assuming Manchester City makes it there, and to feel himself at the heart of football once more. Despite his age, Messi remains one of the world's best playmakers, and the citizens are just lacking sharpness in attack to get out of the crisis. Moreover, Messi and Pep will work together again, and every football fan probably would like to see this duo in action. The Guardiola-Messi partnership is synonymous with exceptional football. But if earlier the talk was about a 6-month lease, now even more shocking information has appeared. There are reports that the Argentine may leave David Beckham's club and spend the rest of his career at Manchester City. Messi's transfer to Etihad could have occurred sooner. A few years ago, Leo Sirios was considering changing the blue and garnet colors to the blues of Manchester. But the leadership of Barcelona then set a cosmic price, not allowing the Argentine to leave Camp Nou. A couple of years later, he still left the Catalan club, but as a free agent. And he ended up in the most hated club for the Blaugrana diaspora. Well, after Real Madrid. Therefore, his return to Europe as a Man City player will be taken normally. Messi appeared to have settled in Miami, intending to stay with his current club until retirement. But the crisis has shuffled all the cards. Now they are forced to look for a new leader instead of the injured Rodri. And they turn their attention to the football legend. who spent the last year and a half on the East Coast of the United States of America. The city's leadership decided on the transfer due to the problems, but now it's becoming an increasingly realistic prospect. That's all for today. Thanks for watching and subscribing. My name is Kirill Cast, and this was your daily dose of football. Peace to your house in Johanga, friends.